before we get into movies and stuff, I sat back and forth on making a solo video on this or just doing it on the podcast. And I decided against doing a solo video because part of our podcast is talking about retro games.
True that.
And so with that being said, everything to do with retro games, one of the biggest things in that community has been the Game Chasers, the show. Yeah. Fantastic YouTube show.
I love it.
I think you've met Jay. You met one of them at a convention, right?
Yeah, I met Jay because he was there with 8-Bit Eric.
Okay, so you met him as well.
The first convention I went to. Yeah, I have a shirt of 8-Bit Eric's.
That's cool.
But yeah, the very first Sega convention that I went to, he was there, and I was super shocked because I knew Pixel Game, and I've been turned off of Pixel Game Squad. I'm not a big fan of them anymore.
Not now, because it went from being like a Game Chasers adjacent type show to now all they talk about is flipping shit and doing whatnot shit. I don't care about
and
that.
I can't do that. But I've always like when I first got a hold of Billy and Jay from Game Chasers, I was like, man, they're just like two average type dudes.
And for people that listen to this and they don't know what it is, which I highly recommend going and watching.
Please go watch
on
it,
YouTube.
Man.
Like, what are you fucking doing? Listen to this podcast and you don't know what the Game Chasers are.
Go fucking watch them.
Right? That I almost like. I'm not gonna lie. Like when this happened, I almost thought about going back and just starting from the beginning.
I feel like I am actually going to do that this week.
I want to say it was around 20. I was not there at the beginning because they started doing their thing in 2011. I want to say around 2013 is when I discovered them and blew through all like up to, whatever point they were at with episodes then, and then would watch. But anyways, we saw this to say, unfortunately, and it's crazy how fast this happened too. Billy from the Game Chasers has passed away. It's crazy I'm even saying that. Dude was 47.
It's insane, dude.
I'll tell my story of how I found out about it because it's wild to me. But like, there was a night where I went upstairs, I was getting ready to go to bed, and every sometime when I go to bed, like I'll either turn on either like white noise on YouTube, or I'll turn on like if there's somebody streaming like a game or like a retro game or something, I'll turn that on. In this case, it was Jay. Like Jay on Jay's channel, he was streaming with somebody else, like one of the other adjacent game chaser people, and they were playing. And I kind of heard them say like, "Oh, Billy's in the hospital," and I didn't think much more of it at the time. And then it was like the very next day, I had seen that video on YouTube of him. Like he put up, I think, 2 videos of him in the hospital. Like, hey, this is what happened. I think it was like right after I saw it. Then you sent me something on it. And I think Dan sent me something on it too. I'm like, holy shit! Like this thing escalated really fast. But from my understanding, and they haven't put out their official video. They're supposed to. I think Jay said he's going to put out like an official video at some point. I thought it was supposed to be this weekend, but again, like they need time to grieve and stuff too. But basically he had some sort of like crazy brain tumor. Yeah. And from my understanding, from everything that I've read, this all went down in like a month and a half.
Quick. Yeah,
like,
it was very
really fast to like, he found out he had it. He was in the hospital. They did some sort of surgery on him where he had to like reteach his brain how to walk a little bit. Yeah. And then he had another procedure. I think it was last Wednesday. Yes. And then it was like Thursday night. I saw the post of like, he's doing really bad. I don't know, guys. And then it was like a couple hours later, I saw the unfortunate post of like, he passed.
3 weeks ago is when he posted that video saying he was in the ER. And I was like it was like a 50-second
It was like 2
clip,
minutes. Yeah.
Literally him telling you that he was in the ER. He's going to fight. And then literally 2 days ago passed away.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like, obviously you don't know what the future of the channel is going to be. But it's a devastating thing. Like I said, he was 47 years old. He leaves behind I think a 7-year-old kid. Yeah,
I believe she's 7, and then I think he was married too. I think
he was married. Yeah, he was married, and then he had like I said, I remember when his kid was born. That's like the crazy part, because there was when that happened, that show kind of had like a little bit of a break at the time. That was all pre-pandemic. So, and I mean, the unfortunate of the Game Chasers show is like the pandemic happened. And then after that, like during the pandemic, all this retro stuff exploded in value, like way too much. And I know the other thing too, and you haven't seen it, but I told you over the weekend or when you have a chance, you should watch the movie they made. Cause like,
yeah, I remember
I
you
went
telling me that.
into it like going, well, these dudes got together and made a movie, but like it's better than it has a higher quality to it than I went in expecting.
Yeah.
And I walked away from like, that actually wasn't bad.
That bad.
Like, I know they put a lot of stuff into it, and I know that they had sold a lot of parts of their collection to fund that movie. And then they were kind of like, that was the fun of the show now, was like, hey, we're going back out looking for this stuff again. So it's a massive bummer.
Yeah,
it bummed me out. Obviously, Thursday, like I said, unfortunately, I never got the chance to meet him. I've never had the chance to meet. They never come up to our retro convention.
They were so like the crazy thing is when I first met Jay, he was behind the table. He was literally, him and 8-Bit Eric were just shooting the shit. They were just talking, and it was crazy because like everybody was swarming Pixel Game Squad and all of their like.
That's crazy.
It was the two guys. It was Riff, the other guy, and then
Ricky.
Yeah, Gabbo. All of them were there.
Okay.
And they were all like swarmed, but like literally Jay was by himself. And I was like, and I told my wife, I was like, that's Jay from the Game Chasers. And she's like, go say something. And I was like, what the fuck am I going to say to that guy? And I just literally walked up to him and I was like, hey man, I just really love y'all's content. And he was like, thanks, man. And like, we shot the shit for a second. I think we took a picture together. And I was sad because I was like, damn, Billy wasn't here. Like, that would have been really cool to like see both of them in there.
Yeah.
You know? And then like, and then you catch wind of that and it's just like, damn, like it really puts into perspective that literally anything can happen at any point in time. And it's like, really appreciate the time you have with the people you have in your life, because you literally don't know what's going to happen.
It was a crazy thing. Like I said, it got announced, and I mean, obviously everybody was rooting for him to fight it and get over it.
And the crazy thing is, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure like they didn't think it was going to escalate that way either.
No,
like,
I don't think so.
Kind of like, it's just wild that it happened the way it happened. Like, I mean, it sucks more for his family, and I feel bad, and I feel like like. It's honestly like you just watch like the YouTube, like you just type in Billy Game Chasers, and literally there's like just floors.
It's the amount of videos that have been put out, the amount of
people
like
just talking about
tweets
it,
I've seen, the amount of like it's been overwhelming. Some of the stories I've seen of like other prominent gaming YouTubers, because a lot of the big ones, like they started around that time. And a lot of them, I've seen a couple instances where they're like, there were times where like he helped me learn this and this in Photoshop or in whatever, and like we just talked about that kind of stuff behind the scenes, and it's crazy. So that whole thing is just, it's so wild to me. It's a real bummer. So because I like, the thing is like, I totally wish they would have came to the convention I go to, and I know I'm way north of Texas, obviously, but I would have really liked to have met him, or I'd like to meet Jay at some point too. I think those dudes are all really awesome. Because my only like YouTubers, like at the convention that I go to, I literally turned around and bumped right into one of the guys from that My Life in Gaming channel, was just randomly looking at tables. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, kind of a thing. And then not gaming really related, but the Nostalgia Critic, the last time that we went to the game convention we went to, and my girlfriend was my fiance, she's very like, oh, I don't know what to say or go up. And I just went up and I was like, hey, we really like your content. It's the same kind of thing. Like, there was nobody really around the table. Again, he's a movie critic, kind of an odd place from being a gaming convention. But I ended up just talking to him and the other guy for like 10 minutes, just shooting the shit about movies. Like, dude, awesome.
It's really cool when you run into people like that, and they're like not as
And I say all that to say, like, the Game Chasers always, to me, anytime I've ever seen, they always seem like they're extremely down to earth.
Yeah.
Like, they aren't like, oh, we're super famous, we're going to these stores and demanding people give us discounts or anything like that. Like, never ever seemed like that to me. It always just seemed like, hey, we're two dudes that decided to make the game version of American Pickers.
Yeah, what really did it for me was like one of the videos if you go back and watch it, you'll know what it is. But like, they bought something from somebody, and they felt bad because it was worth more than they got it for.
That.
And they were like, I can't. They were like, I can't do this. I have to go back and pay her more money. And the lady was like, you didn't. I sold it to you for that much. And they're like, I just, in good consciousness, I can't take this from you at this amount. Let me give you an extra like $80. And I was like, that's really cool, because no offense, when I'm out at a yard sale, if I see something for $10, guess what? I'm snagging it for $10.
Exactly. I'm the same way, where I'm like, well, I got a deal.
Like, like, I'm done. I ain't trying to fight you on the price. Like, I'm good to go. But yeah, it's super sad to see that is. And again, if you're listening to our podcast and you have the ability to go back and watch some of their as much as you can,
Game Chasers. Type it into YouTube, it'll come right up.
Fantastic! Like,
their first
really
episode of that show, I was looking at it today, is at like 470,000 views.
Good.
The first episode,
the very first episode, yeah.
But again, it's been up 14 years because they started in 2011.
Yeah.
No, it's a wild thing, and I've watched those guys for, like I said, for years, and it's not something I ever. It happened so fast. So, but it really makes you appreciate life. So,
really, like, and I mean, I say that really, because I mean, last year after I had my surgery, I was in hospital. I was in ICU for a hot minute, and just like when you don't think anything is gonna like, you go in thinking nothing bad is gonna happen to you. You're thinking you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be great, and there's like literally a 24-hour gap in my life where I do not remember anything that happened to me. And I woke up and I woke up by myself because like my wife was at home with the kids, and I literally don't even know what happened. And it wasn't until I called her and I'm like, what's going on? And then she finally had to explain everything to me. And I was like, I literally don't remember any of this. And she's like, you've been out since this morning. Like, I haven't been able, like, and it's mind blowing to just like figure that kind of stuff out about yourself. But it's like, to note that guy went in with the hopes of coming back out and didn't make it back out, like, legitimately, like, just appreciate it for sure, the time you actually have with your people that you have.